Hello, I'm Amanda Ulyatt. Welcome to my Assessment 3 video presentation for EDN301 Children's Literature in the Classroom. I'm presenting Morris Gleitzman's latest book, Loyal Creatures, for intended classroom use with children in upper primary and high school. I came across this book during a recent visit to Morris Gleitzman's website. I'm a Morris Gleitzman fan. Loyal Creatures only published in May this year, 2014, so it was unavailable in my local bookshop. I downloaded a copy in the ebook format from Apple's iBook store. Loyal Creatures by Morris Gleitzman was set mid-World War I, around 1915-1916, and ends in 1918 with the cessation of the war. The story begins in rural New South Wales, Australia, then moves quickly across to the war front in the Middle East, including Gallipoli, the Dardanelles, and the Battle of Beersheba in Israel. The characters of Loyal Creatures were typical of Morris Gleitzman's characterisation in his other text. Plausible, relatable, absolutely engaging, and they take away a little piece of your heart. Frank was the main character, a 16-year-old boy living in rural New South Wales who is with his dad, a water monkey. They low education, so he has naivety, he has inexperience of life, but at the same time he has a zest for life and a passion for life, and seeks adventure as he comes of age. Daisy is his loyal steed, a whaler. The way Morris Gleitzman develops her over the text is absolutely amazing. She becomes the horse that I never had but always wanted, and through that she fulfills so many needs, that childhood needs in an adult, but also I could imagine that for children, that passion, especially the horsey kids, that would really resonate well with them. There's Dad, a widower who's trying not to be overprotective, at the same time as uphold his promise to his deceased wife of not joining the war, despite the social pressures. There's Jimmy, Dad's horse that comes to misadventure, and Joan, Frank's love interest. Frank's mates in the Australian Light Horse Regiment are well constructed and highlight the essence of Frank, his naivety, his fragility, his sensitivity, and his general kindness and his spirit for adventure. I think Gleitzman has, as always, he just deals with his characters in such a way that you come away with a different perspective on life and a unique perspective on the topic that he's discussing. This is true of Loyal Creatures. The plot of Loyal Creatures is a historically based fictional account of the World War I Australian Light Horse Regiment and the relationship that they shared with their own horses before, during and after the war. In particular, through the characters of Frank and Daisy, the unique bond of mutual dependence is explored. Gleitzman dealt with that with such sensitivity and at the same time made strong social comment on what is right, exploring the values of loyalty, trust, honesty, integrity, bravery and courage, as well as the informal leadership through Frank standing up to authority, at the same time making his own decisions and coming of age. I recommend Loyal Creatures for use as a read aloud for upper primary through to high school students. The student group's reading ability would be my guide. For example, I would read aloud to an identified low ability Year 11 English class. The text would be suitable for an advanced independent reader from Year 6. Struggling or reluctant high school readers would benefit from being introduced to Loyal Creatures because the historical novel provides an accessible and engaging reading experience for a diverse audience, both male and female. Loyal Creatures is likely to appeal to Morris Gleitzman fans, and also readers interested in any or all of the following: animals, especially horses, relationships, including human and animals, adventures, Australia's renowned light horse regiment from World War I, the military, Australian history and geography. The explored values of friendship, courage, patriotism, respect, honesty, and loyalty are likely to resonate with most readers. As you will hear in my read aloud of Chapter 3, Morris Gleitzman used the typical text structures of the narrative genre. For entertainment purposes, the text structure was written in first-person narration in past tense. The use of verbs conveyed both the character's actions, thoughts, and feelings in response to the sequential events. Gleitzman described the events and generated character depth by effective use of both technical and colloquial language in both narration and dialogue. Military terminology, for example, such as ranks, strategies, and weaponry, were used in the text with authentic relevance. The historic and cultural colloquialisms used throughout the text authenticated the time the text is set. For example, all of us, chipper as anything. The word chipper is not used in everyday language now, here in 2014. Gleitzman's use of idioms and metaphors further enhanced character growth and vivid imagery for the reader. For example, from my read aloud, you'll hear Mrs. Prescott formally state, "Major Prescott is fine. He's dispensing medicines in Egypt," in contrast to Dad's idiom of "struth," aye, and Frank's description of his dad's sensitive generosity, "when your old man's got the biggest heart in the district." This effectively showed characters' social status and education. In my opinion, Morris Gleitzman's writing style is accessible to a diverse audience because of the uncomplicated syntax he uses to present complicated, thought-provoking topics. I think this combination makes for pleasurable reading for children and adults because complex language and sentence structure do not form barricades around the topic or impinge upon the story. Instead, emotive, high-frequency diction and syntax are skillfully crafted to reveal an eloquent, entertaining, and provocative narrative. I believe Loyal Creatures is a great read for students in upper primary through to high school because of the well-researched historical facts woven throughout the captivating narrative. Morris Gleitzman provides a personal conduit between the past and the present through relatable, endearing characters and well-described, sequenced and paced events. Frank and Daisy now take up a little space in my heart. Gleitzman is an artful master of thinking like his young audience. The perspectives he approaches the topic from is most likely to capture the imagination and emotion of children because of their innate sense of justice and fairness. I'm sure the text will provocatively create reflexive considerations from readers of the role of animals in past, present, and future wars. Gleitzman captures the attention and imagination of the readers while evoking emotional responses to the honest and heartwarming sentiments and experiences faced by the characters. I found myself laughing aloud in one chapter, then crying in the next. As already discussed, Gleitzman's trademark uncomplicated syntax provides accessible reading pleasure for a diverse range of readers. The story of Loyal Creatures is filled with adventure. The unknown is forever at the fore, creating tension and anticipation at a steady pace that effortlessly generates reader motivation to keep on reading in order to find out what happens next. Loyal Creatures' publication was aptly timed to coincide with the World War I centenary, emphasising the historic contributions of the Australian light horsemen and their horses. In addition to this, the current unrest and recent deployment of Allied troops to the Middle East highlights the ongoing relevance of the past upon the present and the future. I really enjoyed reading Loyal Creatures. Gleitzman gave voice to a story difficult for many of the returned Australian light horsemen to tell, through loyalty to their country and loyalty to their animal companions. Classroom applications. Loyal Creatures authentically integrates the Australian curriculum learning areas of English, History, Geography, and ICT. After reading Loyal Creatures, I was prompted to revisit my own genealogy because my great-grandfather was in the 4th Australian Light Horse Regiment. He fought in the Battle of Beersheba, described in Loyal Creatures. I think many students would find personal meaning and relevance in exploring their family genealogy for links to World War I. However, I'd approach this with absolute cultural sensitivity. I know military records were not kept for Aboriginal people during the World Wars. Students from Axis regions may also find the process challenging. I would not shy away from the facts though. That's Australian history, warts and all. Both considerations would make for interesting class discussion, depending on the student group. Having students geographically map Daisy and Frank's journey and where World War I took place in relation to Australia would enhance their contextual understandings of the text. This may help understand why the Australian Defence Force made decisions that do not seem fair or just. The recent upgrade of Australian War Memorial website now has a user-friendly interface and includes multimodal student-centred pages. I would encourage students to explore the Australian War Memorial website to find their own area of interest in a multimedia mode that suits their individual learning, that links to the text. The site includes a comprehensive collection of videos, diary entries, records and images. I think engagement with the website would increase personal meaning and relevance of the text by expanding students' knowledge, understanding of their specific interest area. For example, the specific horse breeds used by the Australian Light Horse regiments may be a great interest to some students, while weaponry, supplies or uniforms may be more relevant to others. I'd encourage students to visit the author's website to find alternative titles to read. Morris Gleitzman has an engaging, user-friendly website that includes sample chapters for most texts. This allows opportunity for students to find texts of specific interest to them and suits their reading level. Students not particularly interested in the text could explore Gleitzman's scrapbook page on the website. They could compare their current grades to Gleitzman's report cards. From experience, I found this a useful activity for students with low epistemological belief about their reading and writing ability. Wong and Hughes' 2010 research showed blogging to be a useful tool to increase students' writing skills. I'd use educational blogging as an accessible platform for students to share their text-related findings with an authentic audience, dependent on the school's ICT policy for privacy settings, of course. I'd encourage students to blog about Loyal Creatures by sharing their aesthetic response and reading recommendations to their online community. Students posted comments to their peers about the same book would most likely generate ongoing discussion and engage critical and creative thinking. Students would be prompted to consider alternative points of view, broadening their own perspectives and engagement with the text and the topic. All the while, they'd be increasing their ICT and writing skills by planning, writing and editing their contributions. I'd intentionally introduce Loyal Creatures to my future class in first term, as a segue into Anzac Day. Thanks to Morris Gleitzman's Loyal Creatures, Simpson's donkey can now rest in peace.